Good afternoon, my YouTube subscribers. This is Celebrity and Variety Talk. I'm your host, Josie Latimer. My topic today is Derion Vence father speaks out. Today I discovered that Derion Vence father, he was online on YouTube and he was speaking out and trying to protect his son. And some of the things he did say, which a lot of people agreed on, is that Brittany Bowens may have possibly, allegedly, had something to do with the entire situation. And he wasn't saying it was just the fact of the baby being abused. He was saying that she had something to do with the disappearance regarding some insurance money, and also um, he heard that she allegedly said this is going to be a lifetime movie. So what he was saying is that he think that his son was set up by Brittany Bowens. This stuff is getting really, really messy. So every day it seems like I have to change my stories and then put it in conjunction with other people's stories and try to put little pieces together. And so I guess this is why in court they need jurors to listen to all the evidence, and they have to make, the right decision on who actually committed this crime. Who committed this crime with Maleah Davis? Was it a mother and a biological father and Derion Vence, or was it just Derion Vence and the mother, or was it the mother and someone else setting up Derion Vence? This story is getting messy because this father is now saying that Brittany Bowens had not spoken with her father, who was the father that she said she went to the funeral as if she was so in love with her father. He said they had not even spoken. They were not even close together. So she probably just flew there just to get away. And he also said that his son would always be the one to keep the kids, go to work, which I did see when she was speaking on the news with Cornell X, that she did say that she went to school, which means what? That Derion Vence was the babysitter for not just their child, but for the other kids that she had, the other two kids. Also, he said that the CPS investigation started long before she got with Derion Vence, and that indeed it happened when she was with the baby's father. Now, many people wonder, why is it that the father is not speaking out? You don't really see him in the limelight. And so that does leave a question mark in the back of everyone's mind. However, when I saw the interview with his father and someone called, I think it's IKED or something like that on YouTube, um, when I saw that interview and he asked him, well, what do you think about the basket? So the father said, oh, he washed clothes all the time. He did everything. He was the one that cooked, cleaned, this, that, and the other, and she did nothing. He did it all. And so he said, well, what do you think? What was in the basket? He says, clothes. Well, anybody can see that it was not clothes in that basket because of the fact it was a garbage bag, and actually it looked like the vibes of that bag. You couldn't tell, but it looked like little parts of something was sticking up, and the way he was holding that basket was with a little strength in his arms. You could see the muscles in his between his fist and his arm pulling that muscle. You could see it. So you could pretty much tell it was something in the body. But that father had an answer for everything, which would make you believe him if you didn't really know that that was her in that basket, and that the camera showed that she was seen going in, but she never came out. So when he was interviewed about that, he said, well, they could have, that Cornell X and her could have done this for a movie because they could have tampered with the camera work. No, every word he said was just taken up for his son. I mean, he said, my son is a nice person. What anyone would take up for their child. And that's why everybody is confused and feeling really, really upset at Brittany Bowens, because she's not actually showing the remorse and the deep feelings that everybody wants to see. So the part of him saying that she wants a Lifetime movie, that part I think everybody can relate to. But on all the other stuff that he was talking about, and so he sent the guy pictures of his son being cut on the back of the head, cut on the leg. He showed the stitches in the arm. And he even said something about Brittany took him to the hospital or something like that. So it's just a whole lot of conflicting stories going on with Maleah Davis' story. And this father is adamant about, oh no, my son did not do that. And matter of fact, my other son was going out of town and the cops stopped him because he thought that that Derion was in the car. And he said his son was moving his family out of town because of the fact he did not want all of the stresses to be on his family. Well, if I was his son, if I had nothing to do with it, I wouldn't move my family anywhere, period. That's a lot of stress trying to move your family away from a city to another city if you had nothing to do with it. And then another thing is just it's just like it seems like you're running away from something. You see what I'm saying? Because if you had nothing to do with it, then it shouldn't matter about staying here and just staying here and dealing with the facts of what actually happened. Because then that put a red flag, and that's why the cops stopped him and pulled out guns and this and that, because they felt that he was running and hiding something. Because if it wasn't you that did it, then you have no need to run. So this father, Derion Vence's father, was actually really talking about a lot of stuff. And he said that his son was the one that cooked, cleaned, washed, took care of the kids. And also, he said he had a job. His son worked 8 to 5. So how could he keep the baby and not take her to daycare? He said he had to drop her off because he worked 8 to 5. But that would have to be proven in court that he worked 8 to 5, because some parts of the interview, he told the guy that he worked at the post office just 3 days with a temp job. So was he working temporarily, or was he working permanent, or was he working full time? Nobody would know that until all the evidence comes out in court. So he was saying that Brittany Bowens had something to do with his son getting set up because of insurance money, and also because she stated to someone that she's going to have a Lifetime movie. And really, it is a movie. It's a big time Lifetime movie. It is. It's just like all the other mystery movies you see on TV. And I hope that this mystery is solved, because everyone wants to know, where is Maleah Davis? Where? So this father is saying that the cops should investigate her. How could she get out? And the cops is just going by the investigations of her and Quanell, opposed to them doing their own job. This is what he's saying. So I think they are probably still investigating, because normally when they do investigations, they're very quiet for a long time, and then they'll come and slam dunk you. So if this Brittany Bowens have anything to do with her daughter's disappearance. Also, he pointed out that his parents kept the kids, his parents, and said the father really didn't want them. And when he did pick up the kids, he would pick them up one at a time, which is why I guess he picked up the boy and didn't worry about picking up the girl, because he said that her ex-husband knew that he always kept the kids all the time, because his part of the family didn't want to have anything to do with them. And he also said that actually his family called for an Amber Alert, that Brittany Bowens did not call for an Amber Alert. In fact, that was suspicious to me in the very beginning. I'm like, he didn't pick her up at the airport and she didn't call the cops? Or she didn't call to try to find out what happened? Where's my daughter? Nobody picked me up. And, And so they asked him about, well, what about your son when he said he was unconscious for 24 hours. He said he didn't say he was unconscious for 24 hours. He said he was in and out of consciousness. So he had a word for every single thing, but all the fingers still point to his son, because when he walked out of that apartment with that basket and the baby never came out, no kind of way, except for in that basket, I do believe, and most people do. His story sounded good about the Lifetime movie, about how she handled her kids, everything surrounding the alleged murder of this baby, and how she took care of the baby, and he was more like the caretaker. All of that is good and dandy. But when he walked out with that body in that basket, allegedly a body of a baby in a basket, and then also the blood. So when the guy interviewed him about, well, what do you think about the blood? You're saying that he didn't do it, but they linked the blood from the apartment to her. And he said, oh no, they said it's her blood. He's saying that no, they didn't link it with him. He's saying it's her blood, but that was her brother's blood from a toothbrush. Oh, he had some words for every little thing. He was ready for that interview. And then, so when he said, well, what about, he thought that they said blood on the carpet and all of that. He was saying that was blood from the other child, and that blood could not be linked. So whatever it is, whether it was insurance money, whether it was for a Lifetime movie, whatever it was, I just want closure, and everybody else do, to the baby's whereabouts. Basically, at this point, that's what's important, for somebody to speak up, one of them, all of them, or whoever was involved, because they're going to have to pay. They're going to have to pay one way or the other, so they may as well, somebody needs to go ahead and let the public know, where is Maleah Davis. So hopefully this father, since he know everything, hopefully he can get with his son, go visit him in jail, and possibly have his son to let the world know where the baby is. Now, if indeed Brittany Bowens is a part of this murder, or is a part of this baby missing, then possibly that father can get him to talk, because it seems like he's telling the father a lot of stuff about Brittany Bowens and how she was with the kids. And also he said the kids were abused by the biological father and her prior to Derion Vence getting the kids. So you know what? It doesn't matter if somebody never had a case before. That devil is a mother, and he can make somebody snap with the bat of an eye if they're upset at you. Because a lot of the stuff Brittany Bowens said in the beginning, it seems like she's coming back and saying something different now. About, like at first she was saying, oh no, he didn't do it, he didn't do it. I know for sure she was really on his side. So you have to think about that. Why was she so adamant about he didn't do it? What is it that she knows that we don't know? I mean, could it have been a setup? Nobody knows. But one thing for sure, we know that he had that baby in that basket, whether it was a setup, whether it was her, him, or the biological father, or the brother. It was that baby that didn't come out of that apartment. It was her body in that basket. And one thing the guy did not interview him on was the blood on the can, because when the father said, Darion's father said, well, no, that blood belonged to the brother because it was in the toothbrush or whatever. Okay, what about the blood on the gas can? He should have asked him that, but I guess he didn't want to go too hard on the guy because he was getting a lot of information out of him. But I would have asked him, what about the blood on the blood on the gas can? So since you said it was her blood, it wasn't her blood on the toothbrush, what about when they found the same blood on the gas can? And so I guess he would probably say the same thing, because he had a word for everything. Now you got to check it out. That video was, I think it was IKED something. I didn't get the name of it. But what do you guys think about this? With his father coming out saying that it wasn't his son, it was a setup. He had all the pictures where Derion Vence had slashes on the back of his neck, cuts on his leg, long, long stitches on his arm. I mean, he was messed up. He was messed up. Now, did he mess himself up because it was a cut on his arm, like the back of it, that I know I couldn't put on my arm? Unless he had someone to do it who was involved in the situation, if indeed there was an insurance policy. Or if indeed they're doing it for a movie setup and he hope he can get off. Nobody know what it is, but it's all going to come out in the wash. So please click like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what you think about it. What do you think about what his father said, that his son didn't do it? His son worked 8 hours a day. He couldn't have not dropped the baby off. He couldn't have spent time with the baby. It was the brother's blood. She didn't call. She did not call the cops. They did. And she wanted money for a Lifetime movie and blah, 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 so forth and so on. Oh, it was really something. So what do you think? The only thing I could think is stick true to my guns, that in that basket, from the way he was holding that basket, it was a little body. I mean, I hope not, but that's the way it looked to me. So what do you guys think? Please let me know in your comments and click like, share, and subscribe. And again, I thank you so much for tuning in to my audio with Celebrity and Variety Talk with Josie Latimer. Talk to you later. Bye.